Hey, what's up, everybody? Chad Calek here, and welcome back to the In a Crowded Room podcast for episode number 45, which we will get to in 1 second. But before we do, I first wanted to say thank you to everybody who took the time to listen to the message and the request for support that I posted after yesterday's podcast. If you haven't listened yet, it is the last video that I uploaded to the playlist here for the In a Crowded Room podcast. For all your donations, that means a lot to me. Thank you so much. And I know a lot of you guys are just working hard to get the word out there about the podcast, which is awesome. Thank you. And I also got a couple messages from people suggesting that we release some merchandise for the In a Crowded Room podcast, which I'm all about, but I always feel like those things definitely have a place and time, and I think maybe now is the right time because this isn't the first time that people have said, I want to get an In a Crowded Room t-shirt or a sweatshirt. So I think we'll start with the t-shirt, and what's really cool is I have a local t-shirt maker that will make the exact amount of sizes and the number per order. So what I like about that is we can do unique short-term orders that only last for that order, meaning if you don't get this shirt in this order in this time period, then that shirt isn't going to be made available later. So what's cool about that is you get multiple styles, and it's also, like I said, it's a short run, so it's very easy for us to handle. And again, that also helps us eliminate our need for advertisers. So having said that, here is the t-shirt. Check it out. It's pretty dope. I'm going to order myself one. We can do sizes small through 5X. If you like what you see and you want to get one of these In a Crowded Room limited run t-shirts, the link to order is in the description below. I would love to see you guys in an In a Crowded Room t-shirt. So if you get one, make sure that you send me a photo. And, we will include those photos on the podcast so people can see them. That stuff's really fun. I love doing that stuff. And just knowing that the word is out there being spread is really cool. And like I said, that obviously eliminates our need for advertisers. Having said that, let's jump right into episode number 45, which is about the church burnings in Louisiana. Actually, 3 church burnings that took place 60 miles west of Louisiana by a 21-year-old kid, which at first he was just charged with arson. Then it became a hate crime. And then suddenly, and I knew this would happen the second I heard it, the local authorities came forward and said, this young man is connected to black metal. And I'm like, here we go. Black metal church burnings in Louisiana. Now this thing's going to get some press. And of course it did. Every press outlet in the world started screaming, black metal church burnings, black metal church burnings. And listen, it's a horrible thing. But the reason I did not want to see it go this way is because I think it gives the gentleman who burned these churches down, I think it gives them an out, and they start focusing on the wrong thing. And this comes from the fact, if you're unfamiliar with black metal, it is a decidedly satanic form of metal that came from Norway, in which these kids wanted to rid Norway of Christianity and return to their Viking roots. So they started burning churches down. And what's crazy is they actually started killing each other. There's a long history to this black metal. I did a documentary called The Devil in the Metal that actually gets into this pretty heavy and discusses Norwegian black metal. But more than anything, what happens is any kind of crime now committed by anybody related to black metal in any fashion, suddenly that becomes the focal point. The music, it was the music. And now the musicians also get blamed for it. It was the musicians, they did it. And what it made me think of What it really made me think of is Columbine and Marilyn Manson. Now, if you remember the entire Columbine tragedy, right after it happened, Marilyn Manson was specifically blamed for Columbine happening, blamed by the media, I should say, in which he came out and fought against that really hard and basically said, listen, you can't blame me for anything. I am merely an artist, and the things that I sing about, the things that I write about, they are things that I have witnessed in the world. I am not responsible for anybody's actions. You know, if that's what you want to do, take it somewhere else, basically. Initially, I was completely in Manson's corner. I was like, yeah, you can't blame Marilyn Manson. But something unique happened. Something unique happened. I went to an Ozfest, and I saw Marilyn Manson at that Ozfest. And specifically, I remember standing in the crowd, and Marilyn decided that he wanted everybody to spit on him. He wanted the whole crowd to just spit on him, in which he would stand at the front of the stage, and he would open his mouth as large as he could, and he would just tell everybody to spit on him. And it was just a loogie fest. It was the grossest thing I had ever seen. And all these people were doing it. And then he asked everybody to do it to each other. And that's when I was like, okay, exit stage left. I'm off the floor. I'm not spitting on anybody. Ain't nobody spitting in my mouth. And I'm jacking the first dude that spits on me. But oddly enough, everybody, on the floor was spitting on each other. And I remember the thing that fascinated me the most about it was the control. The control that he had. And it was shocking to me. And I remember just watching the behavior, period, of everybody at that concert. And a short time later, I actually went to Lollapalooza. My first Lollapalooza ever. And I forget who it was playing. It was some reggae band. But they started singing about free love and basically let your heart shine and let the free love in and all this stuff. And the reason I remember this band is because that was the first time I had ever seen two women publicly make out while topless. And they were doing it at the urging of the crowd. I believe they both honestly had boyfriends because they were on the shoulders of these guys they were with. And the crowd was urging them on, and the music was there, and the music just provided a perfect backdrop for what it was. It almost seemed like this B porn. And again, I remember thinking, what other setting would this happen? Not only with these girls, but with the people around them. What other setting would this happen? And it was like music just played such a role. Because it was environmental. You felt it. You felt the vibe. It just took you over. One of my favorite bands of all time is Pantera. And I'm telling you, I've been to 11 Pantera shows. And every time I go, man, that band gets me jacked up. And you guys know me. I've told you over and over again, I don't like violence. I don't like violence. I don't like fighting. I don't like anything like that. But man, send me to a Pantera concert. And damned if I don't want to fight. I mean, it just touches that button, man. That place in me where all the aggression resides. It finds a way to get in there, and it just activates something. And the reason I bring this up is because it goes back to the black metal. The belief is that, I should say by the far right, or the evangelical right, the belief is that this music is the voice of Satan and that it affects these kids and takes over their minds and makes them do crazy things that are specifically against Christianity, such as church burnings. And the reason I was thinking this is such a bad thing that this happened in Louisiana is because the evangelical right is so prominent down in that area. And I'm thinking they're going to run wild with this. They're going to run wild with this. And it turns out that they are, in fact, running wild with it because, as far as the facts go, other than having like a few memes that they found in his social media that were connected to black metal, and other than the fact that he reportedly liked a few songs and a few black metal bands, that's like the only connection. It's not like he was a member of the black metal community. It's not like he was a practicing Satanist. The kid had no criminal record, no criminal record whatsoever. And don't get me wrong here. I'm not saying he's an angel. I'm not. I'm saying he's an arsonist. Whether the churches were black or white, whether he listened to country or whether he listened to black metal, I'm saying he's an arsonist. That's what he is. And I just hate it when, religion becomes, the law of the land. It's such a scary thing. We saw this with, the West Memphis Three, right? When you let religion and fear, and especially fear of Satanism, overtake the course of the law. That's when suddenly there is a dividing line and reason goes out the window, in which the far right is saying, this is black metal, this is the hand of the devil, this young man's spirit was overtaken by Lucifer, we want the death penalty, we want him to serve as many years as he can. And then you have the far left saying, wait a minute, I'm an artist, I have, no influence at all. There's nothing that I've done that you can look at and point at and say, he played a role in this. And the weird thing is, and I know this might not be a popular opinion, but the weird thing is, I think the truth probably sits in the middle. For an artist to say, I have no role in what occurred. For example, when Columbine happened, Marilyn Manson, I really wish he handled that better because he was just like, this is all the parents, 100%. This has nothing to do with an artist. But here's the thing. Music is influential. It is incredibly powerful. It's one of the few things that can trigger emotions instantly. I mean, how many times have you been driving in your car and you hear like that song that you had with your girl, and it just brings up those emotions. Or you lost somebody, somebody you love, and that song comes on and it just brings tears to your eyes, Or you hear something and you just get pumped up. I mean, we used to listen to Suicidal Tendencies before football. The song Bring Me Down, I mean, that would make us want to split heads. I mean, the same thing with, I told you, Pantera when I went to their concerts. I am a non-violent human being. The reason I hate violence is because I just feel like we should all be smart enough that with our words we can figure out a solution. If it comes to violence, that means, in my opinion, we just failed as human beings. And that's why I just don't like violence. But man, you put me at a Pantera concert in that mosh pit, there's just something about it that triggers me. And to deny that music is powerful, it's just not true. It's incredibly powerful. It's probably the most powerful, natural God-given gift that the world has ever known. It's universal. It's one of the few things where you can hear music in a different language and have no idea what words are even being spoken and have a song be awesome and stick in your head and affect you. But here's the thing. I think there's a difference between being influential and responsible. Like, I agreed with Marilyn Manson that he was not responsible for Columbine. But when, the two shooters are saying, this music gets them pumped up, and when they're writing these lyrics, and when they're, specifically pointing a finger at somebody that inspired them to do, a crime, it's not Marilyn Manson's fault. But that doesn't mean that there's no repercussion to what you put out in the world. Of course there is. If Marilyn Manson doesn't realize that he wields a pretty powerful form of art, so powerful that it can make, an arena full of people spit on each other and in their mouths and do crazy weird stuff. If all of these bands don't realize that, they put out art that affects people, then they're just not being honest. They're not being honest. But we're each responsible for our own actions. And that's why with this black metal thing in Louisiana, I hope they just lay off of that and they just focus on what this kid did, because there's just nothing to prove there. It's such an empty road, It's just like when you get to the end, there's nothing. There's a bunch of bands that are going to say, we're not responsible, and they're not, but they are influential, which they will probably deny. And the church, the far right evangelical, will claim that this music should be banned and no one should listen to it. And the whole time, there's just this kid that's just really messed up. That at 21 years old, for some reason, he wanted to go and burn down buildings that mean a lot to people. Places of worship, places of community. And remember, I'm not, some overtly religious person. But the one thing that's good about a church that I've always felt is really, really good about a church is the community aspect of it. It's the one time a week where people come together to just say, how you doing? How you doing? There's value to that. It's the one place where, whether it's been taught and passed down, whether it's learned behavior or not, it's the one place where when people go to, they're inherently nice, they're kind. It's a place where people go to ask for help, to admit their weaknesses, to admit their flaws. And those are positive things. So if a 21-year-old decided that he was going to burn those places down, I'm sure the black metal made him feel some kind of way. But this is much deeper than that. This is much deeper than that. That's like saying, I played the Call of Duty video game, so now I want to get an AR-15 and go to war with my community. No. There's something about that game where people like that warring aspect, and it is influential, but the line between playing a video game and now let me go out into the world and really make this happen, that is a dramatic line to cross. And the issues are so much deeper than what video game did I play, what song did I listen to, what style of music, am I into. They say, oh, well, this kid in Louisiana, he was into black metal because they found some black metal music and he had some memes about it. Well, did he have any rap music? Did he have any classic rock? Did he have any memes that were pop related? And if he did, then what then? What then? First off, for the people that attended those churches, my heart's with you. Remember that you make the church doesn't make the church. So I hope you guys found a new place to congregate and get together. And I really do mean that. I think that aspect of church is just such a positive thing. But to the people down there that are prosecuting the case, that are watching the case, that are, covering it all, let the music aspect go. Let it go. Focus on this kid. Focus on what he did wrong. Focus on a just resolve. There's no answers that will bring anything back or solve anything by pointing at the music. Even if the artists are influential, they're not responsible. The only person that's responsible is the 21-year-old kid that dumped gasoline over all three of these churches and lit them on fire. So don't waste your time trying to figure out why he listened to black metal. Spend your time trying to figure out what happened in this kid's life where he went from having no criminal record to now facing 45 years for burning down 3 churches. There's an answer. And the answer does not lie in Norway. Thank you for listening to episode number 45 of the In a Crowded Room podcast. I'll be back tomorrow with more. All the best.